whispers of the swamp sheriff with a
Swamp
heart
sheriff.
as cold as ice, or maybe a ghostly swamp creature who keeps the peace. Swamp Justice,
Swamp Justice, you're listening to Swamp Justice. I had a lady request that the other day. I think it was on TikTok. She wanted, could you do the Krabby Cat? I play, hey, Krabby Cat's coming at you. Hey, what are we going to talk about today? I don't know. Murdaugh, maybe? Why not? So let's let me stop this for a second. There we go. It's not Messy Hair Monday. It's Messy Hair Friday. With my Def Leppard shirt on, Krabby Cat's coming. All right, let's talk about Alex Murdaugh. And a lot happened this week. And we're going to talk about it because there's just so much misinformation, and I'm trying to straighten it out. But before we get to Alex Murdaugh, excuse me, I want to remind everybody that heartbreak on Sandy Run Road, the investigation into the death of Stephen Smith, which does link back to Alex Murdaugh, by the way, for those of you paying attention. This book is out on Amazon. It just came out. There are things in this book that you have never seen, heard, read anywhere. Why? Because I actually get out of my house, leave my security detail behind, and go out and do investigative work as a journalist. I love how they say I'm not a journalist. Okay, fine. Go ahead. But I'm the one doing the stuff that journalists do, not y'all. But hey, who's keeping track? Not me. All right. So Heartbreak on Sandy Run Road, that is available. I did a couple of interviews. I think they went very well. With this, we're open to more. So if you want, get a hold of me. And but this book is groundbreaking. Seriously groundbreaking. It in my opinion, based off of some of the interviews, these people have come forward to help solve this case. So have at it. Stephen Smith. Check it out on Amazon. It is available audio, Kindle, paperback, and hard cover. All right, let's get at it. So I don't know if y'all are familiar with a group on Facebook called Horror in the Hamptons. And unlike Horry County, which some people pronounce Horry County, it's not Horry in the Hamptons. It literally is Horror in the Hamptons. And so I want to just touch on this because somebody had posted on here. I'll just show it to you real quick. This is interesting. This person, right? Cha is the new attacker, the harasser, the stalker, if you will, of yours truly. Her name is Beth Braden. Yeah, Beth Braden. And good old Beth. She works for Lunashark. Apparently, she's their new attacker. She writes about food for the Food Network. I don't know what else she does, but anyways, she's here on Horror of the Hamptons. Somebody posted a link, and it says, "Have you ever seen a theory originating from online trolls?" Online trolls. By the way, I've trademarked that, Beth, so you need to pay me $10 every time you use that word. End up in the New York Magazine, the New Yorker, like it's something legitimate. I just had to see what was going on. By the way, somebody here, the secondhand embarrassment with this one is profound. Why hasn't Lunashark released a sled file they have? What? Let's talk about that. And someone says, did she slip up and say she had the sled transcripts, which are under seal, and then catch herself? How could they have gotten them? Perhaps an attorney friend. How do these attorneys get all these sealed documents? Anyways, let's go check out and see what Beth Braden internet troll has to say. And let's break it down. I want to show you real quick. Here's the, let me get to it here. So here is the article from the New Yorker, How a Small Town Clerk's Misdeed Upturned the Murdaugh Verdict. As we know, Alec Murdaugh was wrongly convicted of killing his wife and his son, Paul and Maggie. And that was rightly overturned by the South Carolina Supreme Court. And yours truly, moi, wrote a book called Because Enough is Enough. And I wrote it for Juror 785, also known as the Egg Lady, who has come out since, and her name is Myra Crosby. So we're going to talk about this New Yorker article here in a second, but I want to see what dear Beth has to say about said, about said article and online trolls. I can't wait for this. All right, let's share the screen. Let's go, Beth. You're up. Let's see what you got to say. Oops, hold on.
End up in the New Yorker, like the New Yorker, the one in New York City,
the New Yorker,
the prestigious news magazine.
Oh, she's calling it a prestigious news magazine. Okay, here we go.
That one? Yeah, us either, but I guess there's a first time for everything. And that was this week. Mandy Matney and Liz Farrell will have all the details in this week's two-parter episode of True Sunlight Podcast.
True Sunlight Podcast. Is she reading this? Really? You really just can't say this off the top of your head like I am? I've never read a script. Here we go. Beth, what do you got?
But I called the author, James Laston, to do some fact-checking of...
Oh, she did some fact-checking. This is going to get interesting.
Our own. I included that recording for your information.
Oh, here we go.
Hello?
Hello, is this James?
Wait, what just happened? How did she go from sounding like that to, hello, is this James?
Yes, it is.
Hi, my name is Beth Braden. I'm a journalist with the True Sunlight Podcast.
I'm a journalist with the True Sunlight Podcast.
With Mandy Matney and Liz Farrell. I had a couple questions for you this morning. Our episode this week is going to be about your piece in the New Yorker.
Uh-huh.
The New York magazine article I showed you.
And I just had a couple questions that we wanted to fact check and get some clarification on to make sure that we're reporting accurately.
Well, that's a first. Reported accurately. Fact check. Hey, if you want to fact check the Stephen Smith case, call me. If you want to fact check what actually happened at the jury of Alec Murdaugh, call me. Have they called me? No. Do they care? No. What this is online trolling, and they're going to attack this guy. I promise you. Here we go. Let's see.
Okay.
So this jury tampering conspiracy.
This jury tampering conspiracy. Who said it was a conspiracy?
Are you aware that this was created by...
Hey, look at that. 785. Thanks for the plug, Beth. Because enough is enough. A tell-all book on how Juror 785 was wrongly kicked off the jury of the Alex Murdaugh trial by Myra Catherine Crosby and yours truly, Crabby Cask. Yes, Beth? Thanks for the plug.
Jim Seidel, the co-author for Myra.
I'm not the co-author. I'm the author. I wrote it for Myra.
Crosby's book.
I don't think I mentioned anything about a conspiracy. And how did you get my number?
I protect my sources.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not really sure what you're asking, but it sounds like a very loaded question.
It is.
So I guess, do you know anything about this Jim Seidel character and his
Seidel character? He was a character. He does Messy Hell Monday for crying out loud. I mean, Yes, Beth. So dumb.
His role in Myra Crosby's book.
Yeah, I think you just said that. Co-author, which is wrong. I authored it. I wrote it from Myra's description. Yeah.
I mean, I've read her book,
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
James.
but it's not a source of my article.
What?
Okay.
Why not?
Did you read the
Should be.
memorandums of understanding or of the interviews from Myra's tenants? They're available via FOIA.
Wait, what? Is this what they were talking about in Horror of the Hamptons? Beth Braden? Did she slip up and say that she had transcripts which are under seal? They are under seal. And catch herself? Let's see if she catches herself. Hold on. They're available. Oh, all right. Well, I'm going to try to FOIA them right now.
And we have the SLED, like, not the transcripts.
Oh, we have the transcripts. I got off script. Hold on. We have the SLED memos for the interviews. Myra Crosby tenants, by the way. FOIA for the win.
We have the SLED notes on the interviews they did with Myra Crosby's tenants regarding whether she was or was not speaking with her tenants about what her role on the jury was.
What her role on the jury was. Well, let's go and see what Myra has to say about that, shall we? Let's do it. And this is directly from the book that I wrote with Myra Crosby's help and putting it together. And here's what Myra had to say about that particular day. My husband and I delivered a refrigerator to our tenants on Saturday, February 18th, 2023. I did not say anything to them about me being on the trial. Hell, I didn't even tell my own son I was on the jury. Let me repeat that. She didn't tell her own son that she was on the jury, okay? Her son. They did ask my husband if I was on it, and he responded with yes. But she can't talk about any of it. To put this in perspective, this was a worldwide famous trial reaching Australia. Imagine what was going on in little old Walterboro, South Carolina. Needless to say, my tenants were excited about the trial like everyone in Walterboro at the time. And Christine Avery, as I understand it, was wild about the trial. Also, as a jury, we ate Domino's pizza for lunch on February 17th. Okay? 17th, the day before. I believe those dates are the genesis of the false anonymous letter to Judge Newman from Domino's pizza worker Christine Avery, but whose husband threatened me the other day. Stop talking about his wife. Listen, if your wife hadn't done any of this stuff and goes out on the internet and talks about this constantly, that's another story. Anyway, she goes on to say, Myra says through my book, I did not talk to my tenants about the trial, although they may have known about prior that I was on it. The anonymous email, as I understand it, was made out to believe that a juror is talking on the trial and guilt or innocence to other people. The email never mentioned me by name or my tenants, but did mention that I worked at a monkey farm. Well, they could have gotten that information. How? How about Lunashark, the doxing post where Lunashark decided to post publicly where I work? ? That part makes me wonder. Here is where attorney Eric Bland, there's another name that comes up, is part of the Lunashark podcast. I would assume he speaks to the Lunashark people daily. And we all know that Eric Bland talked to who? Creighton Waters daily during the Murdaugh trial. Now, she goes on to say, I'm not telling you that Eric Bland and Creighton Waters say anything wrong. What I'm saying is the affiliation and the subsequent contact doesn't look good. Doesn't look good from the outside. And here is Christine Avery in the Discord group that Lunashark charges people an exorbitant amount of money to go in and defame and attack people. Christine Avery. I am the one who emailed Judge Newman. I'm reading this verbatim. Newman. Newman. About the egg juror talking. Then Dick, I'm assuming she's referring to Harpootlian because, I don't know, because she has it in a lowercase, talked to me after trail. I'm assuming she means trial, to ask me to meet. I recorded without him knowing. That's legal to do in South Carolina. Thankfully, I did. It's helping Becky. What? I don't know. I'm confused on why she's happy about helping Becky, but. And between Lunashark and Mark Tinsley guiding me. That was October of 2023. Wow. Okay. Let's get back to Beth, shall we? All right, Beth.
Mm-hmm.
Have you read those?
Well, like you, I don't disclose my background to my articles.
Fair. And then, did you ask Dick Harpootlian for proof that Christine had been on Mark Tinsley's focus group and that he knew her before August or not?
Focus group? Christine Avery was on Mark Tinsley's focus group? She knew him. He knew her before August? What?
What?
There's no mention of that in my article about, and there's nothing about Mark Tinsley's focus group in my article.
That's true. There's nothing about Mark Tinsley's focus group in his article. Not a thing. Not a thing. Not a thing, as they say there, eh, James? He's waiting.
And the other thing I was wondering is, why didn't somebody reach out to us to do any fact checking?
Fact checking.
Why would they?
Ah! Excuse me. That was a good one. James Landon, you get the award today for the funniest comeback. Why would they? Why would anybody call to fact check you?
To check the facts, to find
Oh, why would anybody call you to check the facts? Oh, brilliant.
out what Christine, like, was she in our Discord or not?
Oh, yes. Christine was in your Discord. All she had to do, well, Beth, if you read my book, you can see, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just do it, shall we? Let's see if I can get this up. Hold on. All right, here we go. Oh, Beth Braden. Oh, look, it's Beth Braden. It's Beth Braden. Who's she talking to? Christine Avery. That's amazing. So this is interesting here because this is October 15th, 2023. It was just after Christine Avery announced to the world that she's the one who emailed Judge Newman from the trail. So here's Beth saying, and this is interesting. I want everybody to pay attention to this right here. On the same day at 8:33 p.m., Beth Braden, who's talking to the reporter from the New Yorker, I know you were freaked out, but I'm so glad it turned out and you're okay. Wait a minute. Beth Braden on October 15th, 2023, roughly 7 months after the guilty verdict, after Myra Crosby was removed wrongly from the jury, Beth Braden is telling Christine Avery in response to, I'm the one who emailed Judge Newman. By the way, she never said she wrote it. She said she emailed it to him. I know you were freaked out, I'm so glad it turned out and you're okay. Beth, how did you know that Christine Avery was freaked out? How did you know? And Christine Avery says, that's amazing. Oh, actually, this isn't Christine, somebody else. That's amazing. Thank you. And Christine Avery, I was happy to hear it helped Becky. She didn't deserve any of that. Again, trying to help Becky Hill, who was indicted in multiple counties on multiple charges and is likely going to face new jury tampering charges and was just sued by Alec Murdaugh for $600,000 for doing what she did, according to the South Carolina Supreme Court. Beth. So just we're clear on that. Okay, back to Beth. What you got?
Like, there's just, why not reach out and check the facts? Because
well, you'll have to speak to the New Yorker fact checkers to answer that question.
Man, I need some fact checkers. I have to do it all myself. You guys.
Are you aware that all of this jury rigging is based on a theory from online trolls? Like,
This jury rigging is based on a theory from online trolls. A theory. A theory. Is she calling out the South Carolina Supreme Court? Is she calling out the South Carolina Appeals Court? Is she calling out Justice Toll? Is she calling out sworn affidavits? Is she calling out Myra Crosby in her book? Like, here's the thing. Overwhelming evidence of jury tampering. I guarantee you, even if Becky Hill gets indicted, charged, convicted, and sentenced for jury tampering, somehow Beth and Lunashark are going to go, online theory from a troll. What? Come on. Okay. Go back to writing about fried chicken and the Food Network.
like they've been at this for years.
I don't look at online trolls. I looked at the appeal court's ruling. That was my main source.
Hey, sidebar here real quick. Speaking of online theories, the Murdaugh Murders Hulu show, which watch, go ahead and Google, is the Murdaugh series on Hulu real? And you're going to get, it's a scripted dramatization that comes with a disclaimer stating that some parts are fictionalized for cinematic and dramatic purposes. Go ahead and Google it. That's what you're going to get. That's what you call online trolls coming up with a theory. Go on.
Okay. Fair enough. Is there anything else you feel like we should know? Do you have any further comment about the article or anything you'd like to share?
No.
All right. I appreciate your time this morning.
Yeah.
Now, remember how she was talking. This is Beth Braden. Lunashark. Now listen to her talk again.
Have you ever seen an online troll theory end up in the New Yorker?
Now all of a sudden she's talking like a young woman. I was going to say a girl, but she looks so mad. Why do you look so mad, Beth? I mean, what are you reading? Anyway, did you hear the sound difference?
Like the New Yorker, the one in New York City, the prestigious news magazine, that one? Yeah, us either, but I guess there's a first time for everything. And that was this week. Mandy Matney and Liz Farrell will have all the details in this week's two-parter.
I wonder if her back gets tired from just carrying the luggage of Mandy and Liz all the time.
Episode of True Sunlight Podcast. But I called the author, James Laston, to do some fact checking of our own. I included that recording for your information.
All right, let's hear it.
Hello?
Hello, is this James?
Tell me it's not. It doesn't even seem like it's the same woman. Oh my Lord. Maybe Beth didn't read the article from the New Yorker magazine that's in New York City. Let's read it for her. The allegations are not new. I wonder if I should try this in James's British accent. They first come up at a post-trial hearing 2 years ago where Hill denied them. Do you remember that? You know, I sort of tell the truth, no truth, nothing but truth. And while Jean H. Toll, Justice Toll, the judge presiding over the hearing, found Hill to be not completely credible. This is true. I was at that. Just got done with some, let's see, that was there. I think I just got done with radiation. That was a hot mess. She nonetheless ruled that Hill's interferences hadn't influenced the verdict and declined Murdaugh's motion to grant a new trial. I think we all knew that was going to happen. She just was kicking the can down the road to the Supreme Court, who ultimately did. This despite supplementary affidavit from Juror Z, that's Mandy Pierce, stating ambiguously, I felt influenced to find Mr. Murdaugh guilty by reason of Miss Hill's remarks before I entered the jury room. When prosecutors finally disciplined Hill, they limited their charges to perjury, obstruction of justice, misconduct, conspiracy, blah, 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 blah. Let's see here. The higher court's unanimous, the Supreme Court, decision to take Hill's tampering seriously restores some credibility to the state's legal establishment. Let me read that again. The higher court's unanimous decision to take Hill's tampering seriously restores some of the credibility to the state's legal establishment, which had been badly tarnished by a pattern of regulatory dysfunction that I observed while reporting on and eventually writing a book about the Murdaugh case. I didn't know you wrote a book about the Murdaugh case, James. I'm going to have to go check that out. Among the more glaring examples was a lack of serious oversight within Murdaugh's high-profile law firm. Yes, Ginny Seckinger. Let's see. Talk about Will Folks, whose media outlet Fitz News broke much of the Murdaugh story. By the way, I did an article on this yesterday. Just go to crimeandcast.com, look up Megan Birchstead. She was with the Attorney General's office. Apparently, that's where, according to Callie Lyons and a bunch of text messages, that is where Fitz News got all their information from, how they were able to break all that stuff. Allegedly for educational purposes only. Let's see. Becky Hill, if folks in Bland are right, we can deduce that the convert was probably the pliable Juror Z. Juror 785. We just keep going. It's very factual article. There is a few things that are off, but it's nothing big. That same day, the judge received an email requesting anonymity. Really? Also claiming that Crosby had been discussing the case in this instant with a tenant of Crosby's while Crosby was delivering a fridge. Her husband was delivering a fridge. Judge Newman asked to see the Facebook post. This is the fake Facebook post that never existed, that Hill was unable to produce. I'll go get my techies to do it. In its place, Hill produced an apology post in which someone named Timothy Stone, who lived in a different state than Crosby's ex-husband, wrote that he deleted it, an earlier ugly post because he'd been drunk when he wrote it. And in his words, he let Satan control him. Now, just if I can remember off the top of my head, I'm not reading it like no Beth. I believe it was, let's see. Let me go back to, I'm going to have to go back to 2023 because let's go 2023. Let's go, what is this? February. Okay. I think it was the 25th. Yes, it was the 25th that Becky Hill said she was just perusing Walterboro word of mouth and happened to see this on February 25th. However, this guy said he deleted it on February 15th. So how can Becky Hill see a post that was deleted on February 15th on February 25th? I mean, make this make sense. Let's go on. And the techies in the clerk. Oh, yeah. Look at it. I didn't even know that was in there. And there it is. The techies in the clerk's office showed her the apology post. She specifically named an employee in the clerk's office, though at the time, Hill's own son, Jeffrey Hill, was the county's technology director. Later that year, he was charged with wiretapping. By the way, nothing has happened with that. Local journalists have reported that the alleged wiretapping was meant to monitor the investigation of his mother. The case is still pending. Jeffrey Hill has maintained his innocence throughout. Maybe they should just have one of those things called a trial, present evidence, and see if he's guilty or not guilty. Let's see. According to the affidavits, the next morning, Hill pulled Crosby aside and repeated her claim that she had seen a post. Blah, 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 blah. I told her I had not made up my mind. That's true. That's true. It's in my book. Later that day, Judge Newman questioned Crosby in her chambers. That's true. About the Facebook post and the anonymous email. And Crosby denied discussing the case with anybody. Didn't even tell her son, remember? The judge then asked her if she had made up her mind in the case, which I can't believe that he did, but I guess he can do it. She said, I haven't. And she's doing this in front of the attorneys. It's just ridiculous. I was trying to wait to see in closing arguments because those are usually pretty good. It was the proper answer to give, but it may have spurred on those seeking her removal. Who could have taken that information and given it to Eric Bland? Who? And why I say that is because that same day that Crosby was in Judge Newman's chambers with the prosecution and with the defense that no one knew about, nobody knew about, that same night, Eric Bland goes on a podcast. Trying to think of the name of the podcast. Anyway, he goes on a podcast. It's on YouTube. Surviving the Survivor. There you go. I think that's it. He goes on Surviving the Survivor and talks about an in-camera hearing in the judge's chambers about a juror who may have been talking outside of the trial or, outside the courthouse. How in the hell is Eric Bland talking on a podcast about what happened in judges' chambers when it was never made public? That day, ladies and gentlemen, that day. So it says here, with Becky Hill's Facebook strategy falling apart, it appears that the email had become effectively a plan B. Oh, plan B. Here we go. Let's get into, I want to find the part where we got Avery. Here we go. Her name is Christine Avery. The anonymous email outed herself. We went through that in the Discord of Mandy Matney's Lunashark. Matney was one of the first reporters to look into the Murdaugh family. But she created a narrative that sold her some books and a podcast and a fictionalized series on Hulu, according to Google. Let's see. Her name is Christine Avery, and she ended her message with a mention of someone named Mark Tinsley guiding me. That's true. Tinsley is a personal injury lawyer in Allendale, South Carolina, who was closely involved with the case from the start. Remember, Tinsley was on the stand. He had a huge financial windfall after Alex was found guilty. He even said on the stand that if he was found not guilty, I think he said if he was found not guilty, but the grieving father on a civil suit stand who lost his son and his wife is probably, the jury's not going to, they're going to be, what's the word I'm thinking of? If I was Beth, I'd have written this down and looked down so I could read it, but I'm not. I'm trying to remember it. But they're going to look favorably upon Murdaugh if he was not found guilty. Okay. Oh, and he has said he thinks Murdaugh deserves the death penalty. Well, no better way to get rid of the evidence than to kill somebody, right? Dead men tell no tales, as they say. 2 years before the murders, Tinsley was hired by Renee and Philip Beach, their daughter Mallory. Oh, here we go. Killed in a boat crash caused by the drunken antics of Murdoch's son, Paul. Tinsley was also a key witness for the prosecution. I said that. He says, when I asked Tinsley about Hill, he acknowledged talking and texting with her about logistical matters, but he did not encounter Christine Avery until long after when she hired him. That means she paid him. Following a visit from Dick Harpootlian. She hired him following a visit from Dick Harpootlian. Let me check something here. So Tinsley tells this reporter following a visit. She hired him following a visit to Dick Harpootlian. So that means she hired him after the visit from Dick Harpootlian when she recorded the conversation between her and Dick. And it's also been said, especially in text messages, that it was Mark Tinsley who allegedly leaked said interview with Dick Harpootlian to Fitz News. So let's she says, hired him following a visit. Let's see what Christine Avery has to say about that. Christine Avery on 10/15/23. I am the one who emailed Judge Newman about the egg juror talking. Then Dick called me after the trial to ask me to meet. I recorded him without him knowing. Thankfully, I did. It's helping Becky. Between Lunashark and Mark Tinsley guiding me. So that means Lunashark and Mark Tinsley were guiding her prior. Yeah, I said it. According to, actually, I just repeated what Christine Avery just said. I didn't say it. Prior to. So that is either an error on James's part or it's a misapplication of the truth by Tinsley. I don't know if that's the right word. So he goes on to say, according to him, Avery had been in touch with Tinsley before the visit. Let's see. My involvement with Christine Avery was limited to writing Dick Harpootlian saying, stop harassing this lady, Tinsley said. Harpootlian told me he remembers a little bit differently. According to him, Avery had been in touch with Tinsley before the visit. Yes, according to Christine Avery herself, that's true. Harpootlian also claimed that he had credible information that Hill and Avery had been in communication shortly before Avery sent the anonymous email. Ooh, woo. Avery denies this and the New Yorker and told the New Yorker that, why are you talking to the New Yorker and you won't talk to me? Listen, you're going to send your husband out to harass me and threaten me. Let's go on the record. Let's take a polygraph. How about that? I'll set it up. I'll pay for it. So Harpootlian says he got credible evidence that Avery sent the anonymous email. Avery denies this and told the New Yorker that she had only met Hill once. According to Myra Crosby in her book, they met several times. Apparently, Avery would give Hill free pizzas when Hill came into Domino's long before the trial started. That's not true. And Harpootlian wouldn't share the credible information, citing a need for secrecy regarding future litigation. That's a smart move on Dick's part. By the way, he didn't get that from me. On March 2nd, so more people have this than people think. March 2nd, the last one was leaning the other way. I told Creighton Waters closing was good. Anyway, it pretty much goes on and on and on. That's, yeah, it talks about Becky Hill and jury tampering and all those good things. So isn't that interesting? And it goes back to Beth Braden. Online trolls, Beth, creating a theory that creating a theory is a scripted dramatization. It comes with a disclaimer stating that some parts were fictionalized for cinematic or dramatic purposes. Let me just tell you, you guys are over there, just don't have any facts. You don't get out of your little swimming pool with a drink in your hand long enough to do anything, honestly. You call yourself the Stephen Smith expert. I'm the one that wrote the book. I'm the one that got the interviews with multiple people, with someone who was there the day of that it happened. I'm the one that Sandy Smith said, I've given her more information in 10 years than any SLED agent. How about that, Beth? How about that? By the way, if you want to listen to that, that's on YouTube. And it's also in the book, Heartbreak on Sandy Run Road, where I do some groundbreaking things like putting QR codes in there when I'm talking about something. And then you can listen to what I'm talking about. Instead of reading for 15 minutes, you can watch it on YouTube for 15 minutes. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. And Beth, I don't know if you want to watch that again, but I thought that was funny. In some of the comments, Oh, there's a new comment here. Horror the Hamptons. Les Akers says Lunashark fact check is an oxymoron. That's funny. Let's see. Wanda Fields, new comeback. Why would I? That's a good one. Wanda, they are a bunch of kooks, Wanda says. The word troll was coined for the pink pom-pom squad. I think she's talking about Lunashark. And I started his book last night, chapters 1 and 10 so far. I rate as an 8. Oh, well. Oh, she must be talking about James. I thought you were talking about me. Let's see. Other ones here. Yeah, Crime and Cask participated in Horror in the Hamptons. Living rent free in their heads. Stick to writing about fried chicken, Beth. All right, so that's it kind of for today. I just don't understand. It's not Messy Hair Monday. It's Messy Hair Friday. Y'all have a good weekend. Love my Def Leppard shirts, and we'll talk to you later. Crab egg Cask. See you. Bye.
In the shadow.